Poducer.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, or just like remind you actually, of the way that we met. I don't know if you remember. On the train. Yeah. Dude, literally, I would have never met you if my brother wasn't like, just came over and was like, bro, this guy, like, bussin'. I don't know what he said first. If he was like, dude, his hair. I think you had long hair at that point.
I think I had dreads at that point, honestly. I'm pretty sure I had dreads. Yeah, your brother just came up like all like... That's funny.
It was after North Coast, right?
Or was it Spring Awakening or North Coast? Maybe, North Coast. I'm pretty sure I was on acid.
Yeah.
I think I was
I was acid. Probably on something too. We were just all on the train, like zooted.
Dude, it's funny actually because your name in my phone still is... Wait, hold on. I'm about to pull it up. Are we recording for the record? Is this going?
We are, but we can do an official start whenever.
Okay, just because this is funny. Yeah, this is good. This should be on record. This is good. I have you as Jerry Train Prod dude. Jerry Train Production dude. Because your brother was like, yo, my brother does production.
Yeah.
Get his number. So that's what your name is, Jerry Train Prod dude. To this day.
So funny. I want that name to stay.
It will stay, yes.
But I remember because I wasn't even going to Columbia yet, and like my brother was like, oh, you're going to Columbia too and you're producing music? Like you guys have to meet. Yes. I was like, okay, cool, yeah. And then I don't know, I don't feel like we really hung out at Columbia.
No, but we didn't really.
But we were both in like the same audio sphere.
Right. And we would see each other out and about, you know. But yeah, I feel like a lot of the dudes at Columbia, it was kind of like that, like we didn't necessarily chill, but like everyone was in the same program, you know the faces, you know the names roughly.
Everyone was like either at
Cafecito, bro, that's my shit.
Smoking cigs outside.
Yeah, exactly.
It was bad, but good times.
Good times, yeah.
Fun times. Yeah, okay. I'm glad that you remember that. I swear,
I do. I was thinking about it today.
I swear, like, I don't forget shit like that. And then some people I'll talk to and they'll just be like, I have no memory.
I have a really good memory for things long ago. I have a like amazing memory to the point where some people are like, you're lying, that didn't happen, because they don't remember. But like I can't remember like things I did yesterday or like a week ago. So it's just, you know,
that's real. Yeah, like high school is just like captured in this box in my head. And also I would say college is also like a separate box that I just like have distinct memories of,
for sure,
because they were like, you know, obviously molding, like that was
our brain was period. We were growing into our own, becoming the men we are today.
Becoming.
Yo,
by the way, you smell good, man.
Oh, thank you, bro. I'm fresh out the shower. I got my cologne on. I was like, shit, I'm popping out to my first podcast ever. You know, I gotta be fresh.
We don't have like smellometers. Like, I don't know if that'll ever become a thing.
Yeah,
like that like 4D experience, like whatever.
It's going to.
Do you think like what are they? Okay, before we go like full Matrix, how else would they do it? You got to like put like juices and like fragrances inside the whatever, so like you got to refill that shit. So
probably they'll probably calculate like, you know, what kind of combination of what different chemicals is going to make what smell, and then it can like release it in certain variants to like create different smells. It's only a matter of time.
You think,
dude? Yes,
it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen, bro.
But what about like bad smells? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, of course. I
don't know if I want that. I'm like sitting at home and there's like fart seeping into my room.
I don't either, but if we want it to be accurate, we gotta stay true.
You're right. Yeah. I mean,
the good and the bad.
I know like in colognes they put some wild shit. For sure. Like cat piss, I've heard, that's like a thing.
Probably.
It's like an ammonia thing. I don't even know.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Very I don't know. It evokes the sexual, right? The predator or something.
The cat
like
piss.
That.
The predator.
Aphrodisiac.
Yeah.
It evokes the predator. I like that. Hell yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, no, it's not even just like the animal inside the predator.
That's right. The beast within.
Oh man, that would be a dubstep track for sure.
For sure, bro.
Yo, we might have to like sample that.
We will.
Just cut in like a dubstep track right here.
We got to.
That might be too much to do. I'm not promising any of that. No. So
one day, maybe.
Word, man. Well, welcome. I'm very happy that I can be hosting your first podcast experience.
Thank you, man. It feels good to be here. It's good to see you.
It's great to see you too, man.
It's good to be here with you guys. It's an honor.
Yes, agreed. If you would just introduce yourself so people can get to know who you are.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what you do.
Should I look into the camera?
You don't have to look at it. It's there.
I'm going to look into it while I do this. Hi, I'm Gabe. I am Vermyllion. That's my production name. I'm an audio engineer, music producer, wedding DJ extraordinaire.
Let's go.
Recently real estate agent.
What?
Yeah, bro. I do it all. But yeah, that's me. I'm Gabe Vermyllion mostly. That's my main thing. I love electronic music. That's my life, and that's what I'm here to do.
He's just a happy guy, man.
Dude, you gotta be happy, man.
It's like a good presence to be around.
Thank you, bro. I feel the same about you. I feel the same about you.
I try to put on the smiles and do the happy thing.
The world is a dark and scary place, so it's good to be a light in the world.
Hell yeah, I totally agree. Also, can we just go on a quick tangent
of
how did you get into doing the real estate stuff?
I've thought about getting into real estate for a while. I don't know. I'm just a very people-oriented person, and I like the stimulation of sales. I love sales psychology. I've done a lot of research into that kind of person-to-person psychology. So sales really interests me, and I just, I thought it was time to try something new. So,
dude, I feel like you would, if you took me on a tour of a house, I'd be like, bro, I gotta buy.
Dude,
I gotta buy.
Let's go.
You'd be like, the light coming in is just serene.
Yeah, man. I think my girlfriend laughs at me because I tell her how to say things down to the word.
Really?
There's a certain way to word things.
There's a science.
There's a way to word things to subtly influence people. And she's like, I hope you're not doing this to me. You never know.
I mean, look, there's one of my fave books is The Four Agreements. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
I have. I haven't read that one, but I've read Master of Self by the same artist.
Same dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just one of the things in the books is that he talks about how, your word is like magic, basically. It is insane how you speak and it gets people to do things. Yeah. It influences stock market. It's just.
I am a firm believer in that what you speak becomes reality. I'm always telling people, I'm like, be careful what you say. Be careful what you say, because literally they say words spelling, spell, you're casting a spell.
Oh, I didn't even think about it like that. Damn. But so it can be black magic or I guess we could say white magic. I don't know if that's the right, but good, bad.
Yeah. I mean, good and bad is relative, right? But I guess dark and light, I guess you could say that. But yeah, I think words are power, and for better or for worse.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful with what you say.
I agree. And it's easy to just compliment someone, yet it's for some reason also difficult. I don't know. It's I get confused with this sometimes because, people also say talk is cheap.
That's true.
But it's I don't know, man. We just have this crazy ability to do this, and it just works. I don't know.
I agree, man.
I'm getting a little too heady right now.
Oh, we're getting heady, bro. We're just getting started.
Okay, cool. Yeah, let's do it.
Let's run it.
All right. So I always ask one question to start that can be the proper start.
Yeah.
And that is, what was your first concert?
My first concert. Okay, yeah, my first concert ever. I saw Van Halen when I was in 7th grade. I was in 7th grade, and it was a school night. And my parents took me to see, my dad took me to see Van Halen, I think for my 11th birthday or 12th birthday at the time.
Really?
Yeah, with my friend Mario. And it was the first time I ever smelled weed, and the first time I ever smelled liquor. I think someone spilled a beer on me.
Yeah, and also experienced music that loud.
Dude, it was so fucking loud.
So loud.
It was painful. It was painful, but it was sick. that lit the fire inside of me.
I remember my first concert thinking it was so loud, but then now I think back, I'm like, yeah, like it kind of got less loud, and I'm like, damage, hearing damage.
Yeah, you're like, it's not actually getting quieter. It's your ears are getting less receptive.
So first time for a lot of experiences at this concert, was it your idea? Did you want to see Van Halen?
Yes, I did. Okay. I did. At the time I was like super like, because back then, I don't know if this is a thing like at your school, but like I remember like the cool thing was like to play guitar at the time. Like
it was definitely a cool thing to do.
Yeah. Now it's like being a DJ. Like everyone wants to be a DJ, but like back then everyone wanted to play guitar. Like that was the cool thing.
I feel like we were on the tail end of that though. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Because like playing guitar was still cool, but like I'm sure like my dad's era was like playing guitar was like
that was it. That was it.
That was magic.
Yeah, that's true. So I guess we probably were on the tail end of it. But yeah, so like, you know, I was like playing guitar and
you played guitar.
I did, yeah. And you know, I was like at the time I was like Guns N' Roses, Van Halen,
nice,
like
dude.
You know, all the old rock bands, like that was the shit. So like it was, you know, I saw Van Halen was coming and I just begged my parents, and it was for my birthday, so you know, they took us. So it was crazy.
I'm curious, like this is gonna sound like a jab, but I'm gonna be jabbing myself too.
Yeah,
like the long hair, the beard, we both kind of look like Jesus.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
We do, yeah.
We look like total hippies.
White Jesus, though.
I should let my hair down. You'll see my hair in other episodes.
Yeah.
But like, are you like, was your dad a hippie?
No.
Or would you consider yourself a hippie? I mean, that's
yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
I would say that I'm like hippie-ish.
Yeah, me too. Like I'm not like
full hippie.
A hippie, but I share hippie ideologies.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, no, I was just curious because like you've had long hair for a long time, dude, too.
A really long time. I haven't like fully. I've cut a couple inches at a time a couple times, but I haven't fully cut my hair since high school graduation.
Damn, that's crazy. I started growing my hair out at the end of college, so like, and I thought that it was a long time. Like now, long hair is in.
It is,
but
I was ahead of the trend. I would say
you were very much ahead of the trend.
Yeah,
like way ahead of the trend
for sure.
It's a lifestyle.
I tend to
for
do
you.
that.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yes.
I don't know, man. I had a identity crisis the other day. I was like, I might just go short.
Dude, me too. I'm thinking the same, bro.
But then it's like you lose your swag.
I know. It's like it's
there's all this potential energy in here.
There is, for sure. For negative or positive energy, but there's energy for sure.
Damn, if you actually cut your hair, maybe we do it at the same time.
Okay, maybe.
Like it's like a
pact. Yeah. Maybe.
No promises.
No.
But like that would be kind of cool. Okay, back to it. So first concert, Van Halen, played guitar. Do you still play guitar?
No.
Were you like one of those guys that like learned the theory, or you're like, oh, I'm gonna learn my scales, or like I'm just gonna shred?
No, I was just self-taught.
Yeah,
definitely self-taught. I taught myself guitar and drums. I played saxophone for a long time, but basically electronic music, dubstep ruined my life, I guess. And, like, you know, I just don't play instruments anymore as much, unfortunately.
Fair. What was your first, because we were talking about this a little bit before the show, but like, you know, a lot of people that get into like dubstep, UKF, or like just YouTube, like brought you to Mount Eden, and you're like, what is this?
Dude, Mount Eden. Yeah, so actually I was thinking about this in the shower today because I assumed you were going to ask that question. Actually, the first dubstep song I heard was a crispy remix of Suicide Silence, because I used to go on this metal forum board that had like albums and shit, because I was a huge metalhead at the time. And like, you know, obviously Suicide Silence at the time was like in their peak, and there was this crispy remix of a Suicide Silence track, and like, you know, metal and dubstep share some similarities of like, you know, a lot of it's 140 BPM, like halftime signature, you know, kick on 1, snare on 3. So I heard this remix of the Suicide Silence track, and I was just like, holy shit, like, what is this? This is crazy. And then that week, I was telling my buddy Joe Guinan about it, and I was like, oh, dude, I found this crazy song. And he was like, oh, yeah, man, that's dubstep. Like, I got something to show you. And he showed me Woo Boost by Rusko.
Bro.
And, dude, I was like, oh, my God. Like, the first time I heard that synth line was just like, it just blew my fucking mind. Like, I was just like, I need more of this. And, yeah, that was what started it all.
And you've stuck to dubstep for like a long time.
Yeah, bro. And like I love dubstep. But like also what a lot of people don't know about me is that like the music that actually inspired me to start making electronic music was more like down tempo, like IDM shit back in the day, like the Flashbulb and Aphex Twin.
Yeah.
And like Square Pusher,
yeah,
and,
for sure.
You know, like that sort of like weird glitchy beat stuff, and like Flying Lotus at the time was a big inspiration. So like I love dubstep, but I also love the more like chill, like beat vibey stuff, which I'm trying to incorporate more of lately.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I mean, I feel like you like breaks, for example, are so great because you can like just throw them in there, go back to like dubstep or like what. Yeah, not trying to put you in a box. It's just like whenever I hear your tracks that are dubstep, I'm like, these smack.
Oh, and like mainly what I've presented myself to the public as has been dubstep.
Okay.
Yes, it is dubstep, yeah.
One of my other questions was Vermyllion. Where did this come from?
So, Vermyllion is a color. It's a shade of red. So like red has always been my favorite color, and I feel like it sort of captures like the energy of what I'm trying to bring to the project. But the story behind it, and my girlfriend is always like, you gotta tell everyone how you found it. So she thought of the name, actually.
Really?
Yeah, my girlfriend, shout out Nina. She thought of the name.
Shout out.
It's part of the movie Coraline. I don't know if Coraline.
I don't remember it that well, but it's real trippy.
Yeah, it's super trippy. But there's a scene where the other mother is asking her what color buttons she wants in her eyes, and she's like chartreuse.
Oh, I
Vermyllion.
love chartreuse.
So like,
I'm a chartreuse guy.
Chartreuse is fire. Chartreuse is fire.
Okay, so
yeah, but the other mother saying Vermyllion is what, you know, prompted my girlfriend to say, you know, that's dope. That's a cool name.
Yeah. Wow. I was thinking it would have like Pokemon reference because like Vermyllion Town.
Yes, that's true. No Pokemon references.
No Pokemon
surprisingly.
Reference. Okay.
No.
Interesting.
Yep.
Is Coraline one of those movies that just like has a big impact on you, or it's just like it was just one of those like moments? Or
I do love the movie. Like it definitely is one of my favorite animated movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fire. I love it.
Okay, weird. Yeah, it's Tim Burton, if I'm not mistaken. Or it's like it's that trippy.
I don't know if it is.
Maybe
Tim
it's
Burton.
not. Maybe
it's not. You surprisingly. I think I was surprised at that when I learned that it wasn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to fact check that at some point.
We will. Yes.
Word. Okay. Cool. I wanted to know the origin because it also has. Is that how you spell it? I don't even know.
No.
Yeah.
So I spelled it with a Y instead of an I at the end of it, and 2 L's instead of one. And that is like, I guess for anyone listening, this is a good tip. Like when you're thinking of an artist name, you got to make sure it's searchable.
Oh my God.
Google it.
Let me just say really quick, Poducer. Not a good name because every time it's just like producer.
Yeah.
Did you mean producer?
Vermyllion too, though. It says that for Vermyllion too, but it still shows up. If you build enough.
I gotta get that SEO going.
Yeah. If you build enough hype around it, it'll still show up. Yeah. So 1, searchability.
Gotcha.
2, make sure you can trademark it. Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
I couldn't trademark Vermyllion spelled normally because it's a color.
Oh, really?
Yes. No. Okay. It's too common, and. Yeah, I think those are the 2 main things to remember.
That's pretty important. Yeah. I mean, okay, that makes me feel better actually now.
Yeah.
I'm like,
no, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, and also like, just think of something that you like. I don't know.
Exactly. Yeah, make sure you like it, but also make sure that you're not going to run into any legal problems down the road.
True. Have you had other names? I don't remember.
Yes.
I feel like Caveman.
Caveman, yeah.
Yo.
Damn,
I forgot about that.
Thank you, bro.
Holy shit. I felt like that always fit you.
Yes. But, okay, funny story. So, people always thought that the name was Caveman because I looked like a caveman because I had dreads at the time.
That's kind of what I thought. But, like, because we, again,
yes.
me and you, both hippies.
right. No, but actually it wasn't because I looked like a caveman. It was because Holes is my favorite movie.
Oh, and Caveman.
And Shia LaBeouf's character is Caveman in Holes. So
I always liked the guy, what was his name? Like the guy who would like steal cars.
Oh,
it's like
Zigzag or X-Ray?
Yeah.
Probably Zigzag.
Zigzag.
Yeah.
And his hair was like all like fucking. That was Holes.
Yeah.
I read the book. I didn't read many books when I was a child because
it's a great story.
They would assign the books and I'd be like,
I know, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Something about like a teacher telling you to read it was like, I automatically fucking hate this.
Also, those people that like they over summer, they'd come back and be like, yeah, I read like 40 books. I'm like, yeah, I went to like camp. Okay. What the fuck?
I like played outside.
Yeah. Like I was playing sports. Like what the hell?
You fucking nerd.
Yeah.
You read 40 bucks.
I mean, they're probably like making way more money than me.
For sure.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Definitely. They're like the doctors of today.
And then also in my brain, just as an adult, it's like, could have lied. So easily just could have been like, yeah, I read like 50 books.
They're just flexing on us.
Yeah. And then, but I guess at the same time, the internet wasn't as robust.
That's true.
Now it's like you just, I know that book. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Read it in 3 minutes.
For sure.
Also audiobooks.
Audiobooks are great.
Yeah.
I feel like I sometimes have a hard time taking in the information though, because I'm very visual.
Yeah.
I'm a very visual learner. So
no, when you read, it's like better for your brain.
Physically read it and not read it on a screen either.
True. Yeah.
I take in information better if it's like a book, like an
without the
actual
light,
book. Right?
hitting your eye and like Yeah.
I'm sure there's some psychological.
Yeah.
Meaning
it's like the same thing when you like write something. Like even if you write something on like a tablet, it doesn't feel like it gets ingrained the same way. It doesn't have the texture.
I agree.
I don't know. We're just like hypothesizing.
We are.
But,
yeah, we're acting like we know,
but I feel it. I feel it.
I feel it. Yes.
Anyway, I don't even know how we got into this book.
I don't know. Yeah, that was a tangent. But hey, that's what we're here for.
That's what we're here for.
Tim Burton did not do Coraline.
Yeah, see,
Thank you.
yes,
Thank you,
I knew it. Yeah, I was really surprised by that.
Damn.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's got some competition, man.
Oh yeah.
Some tweaky shit.
Oh, it's some tweaky shit.
Should we run a track?
Let's run a track. Yeah, let's get it. I don't know which one we're running, but we're running something.
I don't know. Well, I feel like let's run a single, one of the out of the singles folder.
Yeah. Like
and then
let's run a single. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's really whichever one you'd like. We probably won't get to all of them.
Yeah. No, I just pick a single, any single.
Ooh.
Surprise me.
Oh.
Nice.
Good choice.
If I do say so myself.
Yeah.
Are these all whips?
No, this one's basically finished.
Nice.
I think all of these are finished.
Oh, okay.
But unreleased?
Unreleased, yeah.
Nice.
Do you have been yet? I can't be only I leave you person. Hating my Rolex. Do you have been yet? I keep the peace only I leave you.
I mean, this is bonkers, dude.
You got to play the second drop on this one.
Yeah, we will.
Do you have been yet? I keep the peace only I leave you person. Hating my Rolex. Do you have been yet? I keep the peace only I leave you person.
Sheesh.
That was sick.
The second drop I'm proud of.
The first one, you're just like, it's okay.
I've been writing more like double timing shit lately, like garagey stuff.
outstanding on the vocals there.
Thank you.
No.
Do you have it yet? I need a piece of me out of you puzzle bit too. Hold up. Ain't in my Rolex. Do you have it yet? I need a piece of me out of you puzzle.
Nice.
Just gets me so hyped, dude.
Dude, it's nice like taking a step back from like I haven't heard that one in a bit and like listening to it I'm like okay, yeah, it feels done.
Oh yeah,
it feels done.
If I heard that at a show, I'd be going bananas.
Dude, thank you, bro. Thank you so much.
Like that was wild. I guess now we could talk a little bit more technical.
Absolutely, yeah.
Do you have like a main, like a daily driver synth that like does the heavy lifting? Do you go between stuff? Is it samples?
Like what synth I use most?
Yeah.
Yeah. So lately I've been pretty Vital heavy.
That's what Agent O was saying too.
Yeah.
He's trying that out.
Yeah. So Vital is super sick. It's a free synthesizer. I just really love the sound engine on it. Like right out of the synth, you can get incredible sounds with like very minimal post processing. And just visually, it's kind of similar to Serum in the way that like you can visually see the way that like the wavetables are moving,
like how
the filter is moving. And sure. I think it's just super intuitive. Like if you know how to use Serum, you can pretty easily transfer over. But yeah, Serum and Vital are my two main synthesizers.
Word. Okay, cool. Yeah. I definitely got to check Vital if it's free.
It is. It's fucking sick, dude.
Yeah, dude, I got it since David was talking about it.
Yes.
Oh, really?
So the text to wavetable thing, have you used that at all?
I have not. What
Dude,
is that?
So it's you can enter in your own text and it'll create a wavetable from that, and you can modify like the ADSR of it and like it'll go across. Dude, it's
how does the text?
So it comes up in like a British like text to speech voice, but it's like a little bit like, you know, modulated, right? And you can, it's fucking awesome. Yeah, it's really
I need to go home
sweet.
and mess with that. What? That sounds
so. Can you like
sick.
chat GPT some text like into there and like get a sound?
Yeah, but I mean, keep in mind it's just a wavetable, so like you don't want to like make it too long or like anything but for like one word, if you wanted to say like bass, right, so
you can make it say it by like scrolling through the wavetable. And then technically like in reverse, right?
So is it kind of like it has a speak and spell built into it, like type of deal, or am I still not hitting it?
You just got to try it, man. Maybe
don't ask.
While we're doing the podcast, I'll get the free trial of it.
All right, just don't crash the system. Okay, cool. Vital, definitely gonna check that out.
Vital.
So one random thing that I just wanted to ask you about because I wasn't sure is Spicy Boys. Because it's on your profile and I was like, what is Spicy Boys? We scoured the SoundCloud. It's got some heaters on it. Is that something that you're involved with, or?
Yes. So Spicy Boys is a collective / record label. I've released 3 times with them. And actually, I'm glad you brought that up because I definitely want to shout out Spicy Boys. They are a large reason why my career took off in the way that it did. My very first release under Vermyllion was picked up by Spicy Boys. And just like at the time that I started, Spicy Boys was really popping off and they were like starting to pick up steam in the scene. I think when I released with them, they had like 3.5 thousand followers, and it was super, super helpful to my career to like sort of grow alongside Spicy Boys. You know, Kevin and Hunter, Hunter is no longer involved with it, but Hunter definitely was a very instrumental part of, you know, my career, helping put me on the map. And just like the Spicy Boys name carries a lot of weight. Like people love Spicy Boys, and to be able to be associated with that and like have that support and the backing was super, super instrumental in my career.
Yeah, I was looking through some of the roster and it's got some good names in there.
Got some heaters, bro.
Yeah,
got some
tracks.
Yes.
So how did you know, like get a release on it? Was it just like a cold, like, yo, I fuck with what you guys are doing. Would you guys be down to release one of my tracks?
No. So my friend Colin, Kyril from Kyril and Banco, he's a good homie of mine. I've known them for a long time and they've been super, super supportive of my project also. So I sent the track to Colin and he was like, yo, like Spicy Boys would fuck with this. Do you want me to send it to them? And I was like, oh yeah, sure. So he sent it over, and then Hunter from Spicy Boys at the time hit me up and asked if I would want to release it.
Okay.
And the rest is history. Yeah,
I mean, you have some bigger releases, and I'm always curious how people get these, because like you know, I'm not the best at doing this and like shopping my tracks around, but you know, like you have a Fucks With It release. I saw there was, I'm not sure what the other ones were, but
Unce. I have an Unce release.
Unce is big.
Yeah.
And is it mostly that you know, you're like building a relationship with some of these companies, or is it like just you got to email them, or there's like submission things?
Honestly, Spicy Boys. Like
Spicy Boys, yeah. Okay.
I got the Unce connection through Spicy Boys.
For sure.
Just emailing. His name is Anand at the Unce. Just emailing him and being like, "Yo, I got your email from Hunter from Spicy Boys."
It always is better.
Yeah, and so that was like Spicy Boys. What like, I'm not joking when I say it was the reason at the time that I was able to do what I did. Just from having that association and being a part of that crew was so helpful.
Yeah.
Basically like my whole network came from the Spicy Boys, and at the time, I actually don't know if the chat is still as active because my Facebook got deleted, which is another story. But
wait, we might have to dig into that. But yeah, keep going.
Yeah, super quick. Yeah, so somebody hacked my Facebook profile and posted a bunch of ISIS shit and got my account permanently deleted.
What?
Yes. That's yeah. Okay. Like pictures of like ISIS prisoners and like the ISIS flag and shit.
You're like random family members who follow you are like, Gabe?
Yeah, they're like, what's going on? No, good? Dude, I literally had like 8 people hit me up and be like, yo, what's going on? I was like, what do you mean what's going on? They're like, check your Facebook. It was up for maybe 30 minutes and then they fucking deleted it.
Damn,
they permanently deleted.
You couldn't even like intercept it and be like, "Hey, I did not do this."
I tried saying it wasn't me, and I never heard back from them, and they permanently deleted me. So, damn. Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, I know like having like a social media account deleted is a real pain in the ass. Was that one that you were active on?
Yes.
And like
that was, I had my most reach on Facebook. Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. So that fucked me up.
That's rough, man. I think about this with like I know like TikTok might be coming to an end, and you know, for better or worse, whatever, it's the platform is what it is. But I know that a lot of people have built up profiles and followers on these.
Totally.
And it's just like there's no off ramp. You know what I mean? Like you got to just kind of choose the profile that is probably going to stick around for the longest, which I think is like, I mean, Facebook seems It's been around for a while.
Yeah, it has. And Instagram is a really good platform. Twitter's a good one too. But yeah, man, Facebook was definitely, I had the best reach on that. So that sucks. But anyway, so the Facebook group chat was Spicy Boys. So at the time it was like, it was probably like 50 or 60 people at the time, maybe less. But like all the artists were in a big group chat together. We would all share unreleased music, share tips, share networking. Like, it was such a strong community of producers that, like, you know, if someone was like, yo, like, does anyone have a connection at this label? Does anyone have a connection at this venue? Someone in there had it. So it was a very tight-knit community. Wow. That was very giving, you know, very, very gracious, like willing to lend a hand. So that was super, super big. But yeah, I definitely think like for as far as like cold relationships go, having some type, like forming some relationship beforehand, showing love on the internet, supporting, reposting, getting involved with them on a community level, not just on like an asking for a handout level, is super, super important. And also something that I tell a lot of people, like as far as like the numbers go, like a lot of my releases have a decent amount of numbers, which I'm very grateful for, but a big part of the game that a lot of people don't factor in is making sure money is put aside to put into PR campaigns. Yeah. It's super, super instrumental. And it's not, you know, like, it's not like paying for plays. It's not like bots. Any release, like even Justin Bieber, when Justin Bieber drops a track, he doesn't just drop a track and say, okay, here's my song. No. He's putting millions of dollars into a PR campaign that gets it to different blogs, that gets it to different TV shows, to websites, interviews, posts, playlists on Spotify. So definitely setting aside a budget for PR campaigns and finding a good PR agent to work with, just to form those connections for you and to get the song to where it deserves to be, is huge. Because, like, you know, these songs are our babies. We spend, you know, sometimes, you know, 10s, 20s, 50s, hundreds of hours on it. Like, definitely that last part of, you know, putting some energy and some money into making sure that it reaches the proper places is an instrumental part that a lot of people brush over.
Oh, yeah, man. I think a lot of people, you know, after they've made the track, they've mixed it, they've mastered it, they've done everything, they're like, I'm just ready to be done with this. But that's like the part where you gotta really capitalize off what you got going on. So when did you realize all these things were like very valuable? Because I'm sure you've done a number of releases where you're like, no love, like I thought this was good.
I knew with Vermyllion, I knew it right off the bat. I came in with the game plan because during my Caveman project, that was kind of like the experimentation days of like kind of flailing around in dark, not really knowing what I was doing. I took a step back for a couple of years, and when I came back with Vermyllion, I had done my research, I had gotten my resources, I knew the exact approach I was going to take to make the moves that I needed to get to make sure that the track got to the places it needed to be.
So maybe we could break it down specifically a little bit, just because I think that this is really valuable information for myself, for anyone, you know?
Totally.
How does one, is it like Facebook, Meta, like stuff like that? Or you said that you had an agent?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, like would you say that they're all useful, or is it like what?
No, definitely there's like knowing, like finding someone personally, like a personal reference is what you need, because there's so many bullshit PR campaigns out there, or bullshit PR companies that, like, you know, you just go on their website and like buy a package from them. Most of those are scams. Most of those are not very helpful.
Even Instagram, like I know one of my friends is like a Meta guru, like he does a lot of like not back end, but like he knows how to work it better than people, and he's like, dude, you never want to buy it just straight off like Instagram or something. Like that's not going to get you the same reach. So I mean,
so I got a recommendation from Hunter from Spicy Boys. Another Spicy
Shout
Boys
out
connection.
Hunter, man.
Shout out Hunter, for real. Like, I'm very, very grateful for everything he's done. But the owner of Fucks With It, the blog, actually has helped me with my PR campaigns. He was super, super helpful. There's a lot of different people, depending on like what level you want to do, obviously your budget.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of resources out there to find people that are going to be helpful for your project. And there's a lot of bigger companies too that like if you have the budget for it, it definitely will go above and beyond for sure.
Okay, good to know.
Yes.
I was also going to ask you, because you were talking about your Facebook group.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the new age of that is Discord.
Yeah.
Right.
I just started my Discord yesterday.
I saw that.
Actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were like, follow, or like you were like, get in here.
Yeah. I posted one of my next release. I posted a private download of it in the Discord.
Nice.
So yeah, if anyone wants to get a free release, well, I don't know. By the time this comes out, maybe it'll be released already. But
it'll probably be released. But definitely,
keep
like
the Discord.
There will be upcoming stuff.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, and like I'm really excited for Discord because like kind of we touched on it, but like just the social media algorithm is like so anti-creative. Like it makes it so hard for us to get our art and our music and our content to the people that need to be seeing it. Even like Facebook doesn't even show to like 80% of fan bases, like people that like your page.
Yeah, people
that
are already following you. Yeah.
So I think Discord is a really exciting opportunity to form a community that you have immediate access to, and also who have immediate access to you as a fan. True. I think that's invaluable to be able to have a space where fans and artists can mingle, and I'm planning on doing like exclusive merch, exclusive music for people that are in the Discord, like early listens. Like I really want to have it be a place that provides value for a fan to be in, because I think that's what's important as an artist in the many sea of artists right now, is find a way to provide value and find a community. Community is super, super important to me. And not only do, I want to make a place where people can support me, I also want to have a place where I can support, my listeners, my fans, provide feedback, provide tips, give out, sample packs or something. Like, I just want to have it be something really special where it's a good community.
Are you in any Discords right now that you're a big fan of, or?
So Super Futures Discord is amazing. My buddy Nick, also, I met him through Spicy Boys. I think his Discord really inspired me to like see what a good community looks like in Discord.
Like a healthy one?
A healthy community, yeah. I love the way his is set up. Like it's not only music based, there's pages for like mental health check-in, like mental health support. Like I just think that really inspired me to like think of a way that you can build a community that goes beyond just the music, right? Like something that can, be a group of people that can, offer support to each other if they need it, or come together for meetups. I see a lot of people like planning meetups at shows or festivals he's at. So I think, just being in his Discord was super eye-opening to like what a really like fruitful, healthy community looks like.
For sure. Yeah, I've definitely thought about doing stuff with like the podcast Discord, but I'm also thinking kind of about what we were talking about before, which is like, where do I want people to end up?
Yeah.
Where do I want them to actually follow me?
Yeah, that's an important thing to think about.
But I think Discord is here to stay. I mean, like, it is the best way to interact, and literally you can talk to these artists. Like it's huge.
Right.
The feedback thing is huge.
Yeah.
Having that community is just like,
it's invaluable.
It's super, super helpful. Do you know what Future Collective is? Have you ever heard of that?
It sounds familiar.
That was one that like was big, and I would pop in there. They'd do like feedback sessions. I'd be like,
was
super
that a Chicago
crew? I don't think it was a Chicago thing, but I know some of the Chicago dudes were in it.
Okay.
I don't know. But like that was my first taste of a Discord where I was like, wow, this is actually like a legit community. And like, I mean, I think they actually offered like services and stuff too, but yeah, man, I would just encourage anyone to go check out like some Discord and get involved, because
for sure,
super easy to just sit in your room and make music and like be like, I don't know, man. Yeah,
and I'm so guilty of that. Like, I'm really trying to like, you know, be more involved in the community rather than just like someone posting music.
Yeah.
And like, you know, that goes back to the whole like content thing, like the dreaded word. The word, like, it just feels so cold. But I wanna find something that I resonate with, like artistically and creatively, that I can provide as content, whether it be a community or, you know, some feedback, like I said, or tutorials or something, just to go beyond the music.
I feel like right now the social media space, and like this is nothing new to talk about, but it's just, it's not healthy. You know what I mean? It's like, it's like our first iteration, or maybe it's like the third, whatever, but it's not what it could be, and it's not necessarily geared for human beings.
No.
But I was just telling Mace, like, I just went on vacation, and what if I could just push a button that said like vacation button, and then the algorithm's like, okay, we get it, you're going to be on vacation for 5 days, we're not going to penalize you for that. You know what I mean? Like something like that. But like, I also think about what's the incentive of installing something like that. Like, I don't know. It's like, this is all just not, you can't like get off, you know what I mean? Because if you start losing your traction, then it's like, you know, I don't know. It's just that.
I like that idea.
That would be cool though, right?
That's an interesting concept. Because definitely there is this like pressure that you feel like, oh, I gotta post.
Yeah.
Like, and it's so not healthy, and it's not conducive to a healthy mindset and to just being grounded in reality. And I was listening to this podcast with Aubrey Marcus and Matthias DeStefano.
Oh yeah, interesting.
I definitely recommend listening to their podcast. It's super interesting. But Matthias DeStefano was giving the example of us with social media is like a 3-year-old with a power drill. A power drill is a super useful tool, but the 3-year-old just doesn't understand what it is yet, and it doesn't know how to use it. It doesn't know how to utilize it to its best ability. So that's the example that he gave of us humans with social media.
It's like, wow, it's a power tool. It's amazing, but it's like not the best power tool that it's gonna be either. So it's like there's like growing, I think, on both ends.
Yes.
You know, like we got to figure out how to use it better, and then also social media's got to be less like, like we were talking about being predatory earlier. Like,
so predatory.
It is like, you're not on here, get back on here.
Yeah. Dude, I mean, literally, like, I don't know if you saw the article about how like social media companies literally hire on like people that work at casinos to figure out how to maximize the way that the brain releases dopamine when you're on their platform.
I've heard of stuff like that. Like,
addicted to it.
Dude, like I swear, man, whenever I run out of notifications, they start thinking of things to notify me about. I'm like, I mean, this is not the normal notifications. Like, no one's messaging me. Dude. You're just telling me that, like, this person logged on. Like, I don't care.
For real, man.
One other thing, I kind of scoured your Twitter, speaking of social medias. And I saw that you're interested in getting into the... what is it called? Like, not like the licensing.
Sync licensing.
The sync game.
Dude, yes.
So, just curious, like, do you have music that is not this music that you want to sync? Is it this music that you also want to sync?
No.
Like,
so, it is not my Vermyllion music. I've been... So...
What is sync? I'm sorry to interrupt.
No. It's a good question.
I don't know what this is.
So, sync licensing is music that is used for picture or video. So for like advertising, movies, TV shows, anything that, you know, little advertisements on YouTube, for example. It's a really great way that artists can make money in the music scene. And I want to pursue that because like lately I've just been so fucking drained with my day job. Like I find it hard to have the energy to come home and create, and I feel like I'm just bursting at the seams with like creativity, and if I could make music as my job, that would be amazing. And you know, that's a good question. Like, it's not going to be my Vermyllion music, but I've been making some beats, some hip hop stuff, some like funk stuff, some more chill stuff. So I'm just getting into that world right now. I don't know a lot about it, but I'm definitely like, that's going to be my next main focus for sure.
I might have a couple leads for you.
That would be incredible.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not promising anything, but I have myself thought about getting into the sync world and like doing that. So if you can play something, it's like great.
Yeah.
Like, dude, that's money.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So, or even if just getting onto like I've looked into like getting onto like the YouTube like library of music that you can just like grab. I don't even know how that works, but like
stuff for like YouTube videos. Yeah.
I think that you can make money off that. I don't know.
Probably, yeah. That's I feel like what I've been learning is there's a couple different different kinds of music libraries that you can grab from, whether it's like exclusive licenses or whether it's like a blanket license where like, you know, it's like royalty free use or something. I don't know.
It gets complicated. This is where you literally want to have a homie that's like a music business guy.
Yes.
Because it's not just like, oh, I got DistroKid. It's like, no. You got to like register on BMI or ASCAP.
Yes.
Make sure you're getting all your money.
Yes.
It gets tricky.
It does. But it's worth it. It's definitely worth it. So that's going to be my next area of focus.
For sure. Okay. Yeah. No, I was just curious.
Yeah.
Because I've definitely thought about it.
Totally.
Should we spin another?
Let's spin another one. DJ, run it up.
Let's do it.
Run it up. This is the 130 BPM one. So for the listeners, I have two versions of this song. This is the faster one.
Okay.
You have like some throat singing in the background, dude. That's so sick.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever been this quiet on a track before, dude. This is
I love it.
Yeah, this is just
sick.
We're just in it.
One thing I'll request from you is if you do end up doing tutorials, an ear candy tutorial.
Oh, definitely.
That's unbelievable.
Dude, thank you.
So good.
Thank you. Yeah, the ear candy is a good point. I think something for me that really was like a turning point in my musical journey was when somebody told me that the thing that makes the difference between a professional sounding song and a non-professional sounding song is the details that you might not hear right away. That ear candy is so important to sort of set the scene. And I really try to do that of like setting a scenery. So like in that song, for example, you pointed out the vocal, like that sort of like throat singing.
Yeah.
So like the whole track came about because I wanted to write like it's called shamanism. So I wanted to write something like, I knew I wanted the throat singing to be the base of it. And then like, I believe I put some like jungle noises in it. There's like that of like setting the sound stage, which is super important. And I think that's playing out throughout the entire song. So that's like the space that the track exists within, which is super important. And you know, then I have layers of like a fire crackling at one point, and then like a bell ringing, or like, you know, just like little things that take it from being like just like a static song of just bar after bar after bar after bar to creating like a journey, like thinking about like feeling an emotion, like what you want the emotion to be, like the feeling you want to create is something that like really made a huge difference for me. Like rather than like trying to just write a song, I'm trying to like create a feeling or create an emotion, evoke an experience.
I think you said it perfectly. Like it sets apart just a okay or good sounding song to like next level, right?
Totally.
And I think that's the best way I've ever heard it put, rather than just kind of throwing in, oh, maybe this would sound cool here. No, you have the grand vision in mind. You know what you're going for. You know the vibe you're trying to get. How did you like think to implement that? How did you teach yourself to kind of get to that point? Because I think it's a really big hurdle for a lot of producers, myself included.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I think really like most, like obviously like for technical stuff, like you got to watch YouTube videos and for stuff like that, but like really just being an avid listener and just a lover of the music and just listening to music you really love and just like really breaking it down, like deconstructing it, like thinking about what they're doing that works, and like figuring it out like theoretically in your head. You know what I mean? Like a lot of the stuff, like you may not know how to physically do it, but conceptually it has to make sense first, right? So like listening to songs that like set a really great sound stage or evoke an emotion in you or make you feel something. You think about, okay, why is this working? Why is it successful? And then you figure out how to implement that in your own track. And also like it doesn't have to be anything complicated. Like you don't have to write something super crazy over the top. Like that's something I struggle with a lot, is overproduction. And I think sometimes like there can be a professionalism and a certain power in simplicity also. But definitely just like thinking about things as if you were like a movie soundtrack designer, of like just setting a soundstage, like something that transports you into a setting. Like another good trick I use a lot is like using a vinyl crackle sample in the background, because then it's like you're not just like, oh, I'm not just like listening to this song, it's like I'm listening to this like vinyl space. It's like it's a vibe, you know what I mean? It feels old, it feels rustic, it's a feeling.
There's something there opposed to just like silence.
Empty space. Yeah.
So I'm curious, like for me, I'll start working on something and maybe there'll be like a sample, like you were saying, that, you know, is talking about shamanism.
Yeah.
And then you start thinking of all the other things that remind you of shamanism or whatever. Yeah. And like it's like this building process for me where you start to realize what the scene is as you move towards it. I don't know like how much it is like that for you, or if it's more that you're like, I want to incorporate all these things, let's try to do that, or like move towards that.
Yeah.
Like how much of it is preemptive versus like as you go.
So that shamanism song was actually one of the most like preemptive ideas I've had. Like most of the time I have a general idea and then I kind of like or a very loose idea sometimes even, and then sort of it comes together as I'm building it in the project. this one was like, I just knew, like, I knew exactly what I wanted out of it. I knew the vibe. I wanted it to be creepy and like feel sort of like evil or spooky, like that. I knew I wanted that like trippy throat singing sample in it. Like that was like, I knew it. And actually, like, I went into Splice and found a collection of like 15 or 20 samples that I knew fit that vibe and had those, which gave me inspiration right off the bat. So like those samples almost, like, I had the idea for the samples, but then the samples also helped me have the idea, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I knew the general vibe I wanted to go for with the samples, but then once I heard the samples, that also lended to the bigger picture of how I was going to create it. So like having those like puzzle pieces almost laid out at the beginning of it helped me construct the bigger puzzle. But that's not something I do often. Like a lot, like my writing process is so different from song to song. Like sometimes I'll just have a drum beat that I want, that I like start off with that drum beat, and then I'll, you know, add a bass onto it. Sometimes I'll start out with like a really cool atmosphere, like just a background that I want to add. Like it really differs from song to song. But I'm always trying to think about the feeling I want to create with it. Like that is something that's super important.
I'm the same way in the terms of like, I like to think of it as a scene or just like imagery wise. But you know, I don't ask. I used to ask a lot, like, oh, what do you start with, like chords or melody or drums? But,
usually drums.
Okay.
95% of the time.
Maybe it's still a good question to ask, but it's just, I feel like a lot of people, it's just, they're like, oh, I just started with this because I thought it was cool or whatever. It's like not like so thought out, like I'm going to start with the drums. It's not like a lot of people are like scientific methoding it where it's like, this time I'm going to start with the drums and I'm going to change this variable. Maybe some people are like that. There definitely are some producers that are like
for sure. I will say for me, the drums is the thing that I get 99% of the way finished immediately. Because like the drums, if the drums don't smack, the track is not going to smack. It can be the dopest sound design. It can be the most incredible songwriting. It can be the most incredible music theory. If the drums are not there, the track is not going to work. Like the drums are like the heartbeat of the song. Like that is what carries the song. Like, and I always tell people like less is more. Like I do minimal processing on my drums. Like I'll distort them a little bit, maybe like a tiny bit of like low cut on some elements, but I'm really not doing anything to the drums. Like good sample choice is number one. It's number one. If you're spent like personally, like that whole meme about like, oh, I spent 5 hours finding the right snare. Like I never resonated with that because if the snare wasn't right, like I would just find a different sample. If I didn't like the snare in the first 10 seconds, then I knew that there was something wrong with it.
Yeah. Yeah. How much digging? I saw that you posted something about like, what are some of your favorite like kick samples? Because I feel like my kicks got to smack.
Yeah. The kick's got to smack.
You gotta, I'm sure you've done a lot of digging on Splice.
Yes.
Like, is Splice the go-to?
Splice is my go-to, yes.
The thing is with Splice too, and we've talked about this a lot, but it's like the samples are so already loud and you can just base everything off of that it's like, especially drum samples. That's like the real sauce of Splice in my opinion, that it's like,
bro, something funny though, I don't know if you recently saw it, but did you see how like there was like heavy compression on the Splice samples and nobody knew it in their player, and they just like posted something on their website like due to recent complaints, we've decided to take off the compression on the Splice samples. If you want to recreate it, use like a 16:1 ratio compressor.
Wait,
like
so
heavy ass compression.
So the way that you would download them was like compressed as fuck.
No,
it was just on the player.
Just on the player. So they sounded fat as fuck on the player. So I don't know if you ever had it. This has definitely happened to me where I dragged in some drum samples into Ableton and I'm like, that doesn't sound like they're smacking like they were in the player. So like literally like
Damn.
it was this thing. They were like, oh yeah, if you want to recreate it, use like 16:1 like heavy knee, heavy compression.
Heavy
like,
knee.
Dude, like
That's
bro,
crazy.
scumbags, misleading.
But shout out Splice too.
Shout out Splice, yeah.
I also saw they posted something the other day that they're getting rid of like Splice Studio or something. They're like changing something.
I never used it.
I never used it.
That shit was
either.
horrible, bro.
But it was a good idea in the sense that like you could easily share projects and it would like all
But
work.
see, no, it wouldn't.
But
that
yeah,
was
like-
the thing. But see, I don't know, because I used to use it back in the day. When I used it, the only times I ever had issues with collabs was when we did it over Splice Studio. Yes, it never worked.
Would you, I mean, the ways that I feel like the surefire way to get a collab to work is just using audio, bouncing stuff to audio, sending stems. But just in case.
Even then, audio files would be missing. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yes, stems is fine. If you both use Ableton and you just want to share a project file, that's great.
Yeah, that's cool too. And then maybe like you got to make sure you have the same synths or something.
Yes.
And if you don't, then bounce to audio. But
Right.
sometimes when you bounce stuff to audio, like I know if you use the track delay, it's like if you bounce stuff, it doesn't capture the track delay, and
that's
it's
true.
like then
That's true.
then you put it in, you're like, what happened?
Yeah.
Those are
That's
the
a good
worst.
point.
I
That's-
hate when shit like that happens.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because then you got to like maybe like manually drag it or something and then bounce it. I don't know.
There's nothing worse than when you hear something and you're like, that's just not right.
Yeah.
You're just like, wait, no, that's
Because you've heard it so many times and then you hear it and you're like, wait a minute.
we got to fix that.
Something's
yeah.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like we listened to another track.
Hey, man, I've run it up.
One thing I wanted to say was
Yes.
I was like thinking like I had something else to say.
Mm-hmm.
And it is that like your drops or like your whatever choruses, whatever we're going to call them.
Yeah.
They last for a long time. And I like that because I can get into it and like stay in it.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like some tracks, especially if it's like a 2-minute like whip just in and out type of thing, I'm like, damn, that was sick. But like it was so much energy and then it went away and like now we're building it back up. But like yours is like you can kind of just stay in it and groove.
That's something
I appreciate
recent.
that.
That's something recent I've been doing in the last couple of years. Like I feel like for a long time, I sort of like felt rushed in my productions, like almost like didn't feel comfortable enough, like staying in a section long enough. But yeah, lately I think I've been writing drops in like 32 or 64 bars instead of 16. Which I like that too. It gives you a chance to sort of sink into it a little bit.
Yeah. I don't know. I just noticed that and I was like, oh, this is nice. Cause like, that's one thing I just don't see as much. I don't know, man. It's just like these banging whips. I'm like, that was sick, but like I wish I had more.
Yeah, especially in like the TikTok era of media, like I've noticed stuff is getting shorter and shorter.
Oh yeah.
Which I like longer stuff. Like
Me too.
Again, like, you know, my approach to making it a feeling and an experience. Like
you gotta
just want it to
sink
be
in.
like,
Yeah, it takes time.
It takes time.
Also, one thing I wanted to say before we rip this other track.
Yeah.
I can't help but feel like maybe Agent O had a little bit of influence on the two-steppy, like...
Dude, he is the reason. He is the reason. Yep. You know it.
Look
at
I
that.
really like that sound, though. Like,
It's sick.
it's dope.
Dude, yeah, no, Agent O literally like David is the reason that I started writing in that style. And it's such a fun style to write. Like, you know, David is one of the people that's like super hard pushing like the UKG style over here. And I definitely think like it's definitely going to start blowing up in the States soon because like, you know, it's like the same tempo as house. It has a similar like two-steppy feel, but it has like that different groove to it. Like I love the kick variations, like the basses are a little heavier. Like I feel like it's a really cool mix between like dubstep and house without or bass music and house without being like bass house, which is kind of like, you know, bass house is cool, but like a lot of just like the UKG stuff is just like dark and grimy and vibey and like two-steppy, and it still has that dancey feel, but it also has that like deepness to it. So
and that shuffly feel. It's like it's at like a perfect BPM to be able to go between 4 on the floor, 2-step, and then like just a straight up halftime drop.
Yeah, and like David definitely like is the main reason that I started venturing into that sound, because he's the master of it, like for sure. He's so fucking good.
All right, for this one, I want to ask you about it before we go into it. So let's choose one.
Okay.
Any Mace? What do we got here?
You know, since we were just talking David, I feel like we got to play one of your collabs here, right?
Oh,
I think
okay.
So.
Yeah, that's a good call.
I think so.
Well, I don't remember which one we played. I don't know what it was called.
Which one we played with David?
Yeah, I don't know what it was called.
It might have been Bounce Back, I think.
I feel like that's it. You can check his folder. I can also edit this out.
Is there anything in particular you're...
I was gonna say Bounce Back, but it probably was Bounce Back, because like I feel like that's the crown jewel.
That's the one.
Yeah, I feel like that's
it was Bounce Back.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. See,
if we had
me and him think. Yeah. So I'll pick a different one. Let's do Salvage.
Okay.
Let's run it.
Anything to say about this one?
Yeah. So this was actually the first track that came together from the EP. We didn't really know what direction we were going to go with it. We had no idea. We just knew that we were going to do an EP together. So this one started out, David had the first drop written, the intro and then the first drop, and he sent the project file to me. And I wrote the build section and the second drop. And at the time, the drops just were completely different. Like, it didn't sound like a cohesive song. It sounded like two different songs put together. So the second drop ended up staying the same. Like, my part is pretty similar to what I wrote originally, but David took that and then went back to the first drop and incorporated a lot of like my sounds and some of the synth sounds and some of the note patterns back into the first drop to make it like a cohesive song rather than just like one drop and then second drop. So this was the first song that came together off of the EP. And it's definitely a super cool one. This EP and this song for me definitely like marked a shift in the way that I approached writing music. Just because David is so good and he's so technical on just such another level that like it really like, honestly, like I was kind of self-conscious going into it. Like I didn't know if I was going to be able to like keep up or like contribute in a way that was valuable. And it really like it forced me to like step up my game, like really truly step up my game and like put my big boy pants on and like really like create something, like dig deep and create something that I'm super, super proud of. And like, I think the EP turned out amazing. And like, I think you can really hear both of our sounds shining through on it. And definitely this song is a perfect example. So first drop is David, second drop is me. So I think it's a good one to showcase for sure.
Dude, that's crazy.
Thank you, bro. Yeah, I love that little. It's just so sick.
Let's go.
Yeah,
Let's go. That was sick.
Dude, thank you. Thank you so much, man.
That one had me like writing notes down. I was like,
I
gotta
love
like
it.
think,
Yes.
yeah. One thing I was thinking about is like when you get some of those wonkier syncopations, it's like, how do you go about programming those, or like maybe you're playing them? Like I always think about like how people arrive to the groove. I know that there's like groove pool, but yeah, I was just curious.
That's a good question. Yeah, that's a good question. So kind of like my process with like arrangement and grooves, like lately what I've found to be super, super helpful is like I've been trying to just like get a whole drop's worth of stuff out there in the first session, in my first writing session. I'll get all the synths I want. I'll get all the sounds. I'll get them out on the board. And then, you know, maybe I'll take a day off and then I'll go back to it and like figure out the pocket of like how I want things to sit. So basically like I'll have all the bass sounds in the drop. I'll know which synths I want and the sounds that I want. But then, you know, maybe I'll like, whether it's dragging the MIDI file around or, you know, if I want to bounce it down to audio and I want to maybe like reverse one of them or drag it slightly off the grid. I think like having the sounds in their place, right? Whether that be a MIDI note or bouncing it to audio and then dragging those individual clips or audio files, I find is super helpful instead of like, you know, maybe sometimes I will like write it in MIDI, you know, like the pattern will be MIDI, but like that song is a good example where there's like a lot of different sounds interplaying, right? There's like a lot of like call and response between different synths, different bass sounds.
Yeah.
So in a situation like that, I definitely think it's nice to just like be able to drag the file, the MIDI clip itself or the audio file itself, and then you can really get that groove. Because like once you have the sounds down, you know the sounds that are going to be there. You know they're going to be there one way or another. But that way you can sort of like pocket them and arrange them in a way that like feels nice. And like being able to do that where it's just dragging like one clip, for example, I feel like that really sort of like lets my brain break free out of just like very rigid arrangement, and then you know you can like sort of drag things off beat or you know like maybe go into triplet mode and like put one of them on a triplet note, so that just gives a lot of like natural flexibility in being able to arrange it. Once you have the sounds, then you can sort of like put them into that pocket.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. I feel like sometimes I'll get on this thing where I'm like, no, I just got to get the groove right and then I can change the sound. But then the groove isn't, like, because the sound isn't very interesting, I'm like, the groove doesn't sound right. Or like,
sound first and then groove later is what I've found. Super helpful for me.
I might try that. Yeah. I mean, all these tracks, the call and response is crazy too. There's like, but there's just all these different sounds,
dude.
Interplaying.
Yes, and I'm glad you picked up on the call and response. So like, dude, this is kind of just like diving into my mindset a little bit, like a little bit into the madness. So like, something I think about a lot is that any good art, whether it be music or movie or book, it all relies on contrast, right? Like the loudest parts are only as valuable as the quiet parts. The scariest parts of the movie are only as valuable as the calmest parts. The craziest, most stressful part of the book is only as valuable as the chillest part of the book. Contrast is what makes art meaningful. Like it's what sets apart a good story from a bad story. If there's a horror movie and it's just balls to the wall, everyone is getting killed the whole entire time, so you're gonna be like, what the fuck is this? But like, it's that like balance of like throwing in the really intense against a backdrop of something that's more calm, which makes it meaningful. So I try to think about that in my terms of like arrangement, like, you know, like the high frequency, super distorted, gritty sound is more meaningful when it's placed against like a lower, smoother wub sound. And like that can like, that goes to like the call and response goes like, you can go macro to micro. You can do call and response between first and second drop. You can do call and response between the A section of the drop and the B section of the drop. You can do call and response between the first synth sound and the second synth sound, and then the first synth sound and second synth sound in the second part of the drop. There's so many different ways that you can use similar patterns or frequencies or contrasting to like really create something that's interesting and that keeps flowing. Because like, that's part of like what I was talking about with like storytelling, right? Like creating a story, creating an experience. It's all about using that contrast to create movement, to create contrast, to create value to certain parts of it. So just thinking about ways in terms of contrast, loud and soft, high frequency, low frequency, distorted, smooth, noisy and quiet. Like it's all ways that you can think conceptually to make a really interesting piece of music.
Wow, that really helps me understand how you came to the conclusion of that piece, because like, I don't know if you listen to like G Jones or something.
I fucking love G Jones.
G Jones smacks. Yeah.
I love him.
But like one of his songs is just called Different Sound. And I'm sure that that's just because like a lot of people are like, dude, yeah, like he keeps it fresh because like he'll change the sound. Like it's the same pattern and then it's like a different wub or whatever. And I'm like, I'm hearing that kind of with your music. And it's these, I love the idea of the contrast between just the frequencies too.
Yeah.
Like, of course, you know, you want to fill the speaker in certain parts, but like, I don't know. I never really thought about it like that. And I think that really helps me understand where you're coming from when you're making
Dude, it's super important. And you can also like, a technique I use a lot is also like in thinking about how you're going to approach buildups versus drops. If you have a buildup or if you have a drop that's like super busy, there's a lot of stuff going on, it's going to hit harder if your buildup is more minimal, because it's that contrast. Same thing if your drop is super minimal and it's like a big open spacious arrangement, it's going to hit a lot harder if your buildup is super full. You know what I mean? Because it's that contrast again. It's the same thing like, you know, a technique I use a lot is like right before a drop hits, I'll cut out the lows and the highs and sort of bring it in frequency wise. Cause then when it drops and it fills out the spectrum, it's like, boom, it's exploding. You know what I mean? So there's so many different ways you can think about contrast.
Yeah, or like I was just thinking like dry versus like really wet sounds
that too. Yeah, exactly.
I love those. I love the wubs that are just like the cavern ones where it's like,
those are my favorite.
It sounds like there's like a beast in the cave just like bellowing, and you're just like, oh, we shouldn't go in there.
Yeah, no, I love those ones. And then like when the reverb tail holds over into the next bar, like it's creating like a cohesive setting rather than just a sound that randomly comes in, because that sound comes in and it occupies the space into the next sounds. So it's like just it's another part of the equation.
Yeah, for sure. I'm curious, like who are some artists right now, besides H&O, we love David.
Yes.
That, are really inspiring you. And because like the newer dubstep, I don't even know what we call this dub. I just call it like wonky, like whatever, experimental bass music. But like, I guess it's a two-part question. Like, who are some people right now that you're excited about their music? And also like, how did we arrive to this like newer dubstep? Like, who are some of the people that are pushing that sound?
That's a good question. So I think to answer the latter part, I think Liquid Stranger and Wakan have been completely instrumental in shaping what's popular in electronic music right now. Like 4 or 5 years ago, like you could consider that more like left field bass, but like now that's like the mainstream shit. Like the Wakan shit is so front and center.
Oh yeah.
So I think like artists like Peekaboo and Liquid Stranger, and Sully and the Wakan crew has been super instrumental in like pushing that sound, and they do it really well. And some artists that I have really been like studying lately, Shades is one of them.
For sure.
Alex Perez and EPROM.
Yeah,
because they just always remind me that like less is more. Like their arrangements are not very crazy. They're not very over the top. They're just simple and they're just so effective. Like every sound plays a part, and it's just like this crazy emotional, dark, gritty sound that's not overproduced. It's not overly busy. Another artist that I think really does less is more good that I've been loving lately is Halogenics, which is drum and bass. He's just fucking amazing. And like his melody structures are just incredible. Like the way that he puts together melody just creates such a strong emotional response. And like I want to go in a more melodic direction. Like I still want stuff to be heavy lately, but I definitely want to incorporate more melody. So he's definitely been like a great study of like simplicity and then also melody.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who else. Like of course, G Jones always is just
G Jones is slap
fucking incredible.
But I get that also where it's like you got like a really pretty melody and then you got like the raunchy stuff and you're like, that's another
contrast.
And then also you were saying Shades, all of their album art I'm pretty sure is just like black and white. What's more contrasty than that?
Exactly. So that's like a perfect example of it.
Yeah. I mean, look, those were some good artists. And also, the Wakan thing for sure. Oh, this just reminds me too. And like I don't know how long we've been going. I don't want to go forever. But one thing I just wanted to bring up, which is exciting, is Pretty Lights.
Dude.
Coming back.
Oh my God. Yes.
Hold on. Fill me in.
So, I mean, maybe you know better. My friend showed me that he's booked a tour and like, I didn't really realize that the comeback was so like, such a big deal.
Monumental. Monumental.
No fucking way.
Yeah, Pretty Lights is back.
So I remember like a year or two ago, he was like in the studio with a couple people.
Yeah, there's some clips posted.
That was it. Like that was the only thing that we knew about.
And I don't think, and like nobody really took it serious because there was like this like ongoing joke of like, oh, like he's coming back this year. But like there was rumors of it.
Yeah.
But nothing ever happened. But yeah, this is like, he's fully coming back. And like, man, I'm so glad you brought that up. Like Pretty Lights is one of the reasons that I started producing electronic music. Like back in the day, like he's so fucking good. And he's always been just a pioneer. Like he basically created that whole genre, that like electro funk genre. Like if it wasn't for Pretty Lights, like we wouldn't have like Grizz, Grammatic, the Floozies, Manic Focus, like all those guys. And not to say that they haven't created their own lane now, of course, but like I feel like Pretty Lights like really set the stage.
Weren't a lot of them on his label
yes.
for a while? Yeah.
Yes, Grizz and Grammatic for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Pretty Lights is just so incredible. A Color Map of the Sun is one of like my favorite electronic albums.
Yeah.
if anyone has not seen that like little like 20-minute like making of clip on YouTube, you gotta check that out. It's really incredible. Like just super quick, but I love Pretty, like I could talk about this all day, but instead of like sampling like other records, he recorded all the breaks, all the drum sections, all the horns and everything, and then pressed it to wax and then sampled those records.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So fucking sick, dude.
That's so dope. Yeah, man. Is he coming out? Do we know if he's coming out with like an album?
I'm sure there will be new music. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'm excited.
And he's playing in Chicago, I'm pretty sure, at the Salt Shed.
Yeah. Pre-sales went live today and I did not get any.
Are they gone?
I'm sure they're gone.
Oh, man.
I'm sure.
See, like, you just got to hop on that shit. Even if you don't know if you can go, you're just like, we're just going to go in spirit and sell them or something.
But, dude, like, I think Pretty Lights returning to electronic music right now is really important because, like, honestly, like, I've been feeling a little stagnant with the scene lately. Like, I feel like things are getting a little oversaturated and overdone, and, like, there's definitely people coming out with really sick, like fresh stuff, but I think like what is generally being accepted in the mainstream and like making money is kind of like playing it safe in a lot of ways, and is a little recycled.
For sure. Are you specifically in like the bass music scene?
In the bass music scene.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel like it's been not holding my attention. I don't know how to explain that. It's like I'll hear something that is, you know, like on paper, like great, like it's like, and like when I hear it, I'm like, this is cool, but I'm kind of like,
it's forgettable.
Yeah, and it is super polished, and like all the sounds are cool, but there's just something about it that maybe is too formulaic at this point.
I think it is, because dude, like in what at least the golden era of EDM that I was a part of was like, you know, 2011 to 2015 or 2016, there were like all these just like anthem bangers, man, like all the Flux Pavilion stuff, like all the Cascade stuff, like the Swedish House Mafia, like all these songs with like the Adventure Club, like just huge vocals that everybody knew, that like they were just anthems. I feel like there aren't as many like electronic anthems being put out nowadays.
No, everything's like, how weird can we get?
Yeah,
and it's like
weird is good.
It's cool. No, and I don't mean like weird, but it's almost like we've gotten more and more producers are making music for producers, and it's like kind of alienating the people, and like still the fans of these types of music are still like in it. Yeah, like they still love all the weird niche stuff, but
totally,
I get what you're saying, man.
Right? Like the anthems, man. Like it was just an era of anthems, like Bauer, like the Bauer tracks, like Harlem Shake. Like it was just songs that you would hear live at a concert, and just the whole place would just go fucking crazy. Like everyone would be singing the words to these songs, and like there definitely are ones like that now. But I don't know. I just feel like
I don't know that many.
They come and go now in like a matter of like a couple days. Like I feel like it was that the bounce with it, rock with it.
Oh yeah, the Zed, right? That was Zed.
Was that Zed?
No,
or like the one where it's like,
no, it was that
do it to it,
a craze. Yeah.
So like that one, like that vocal got passed around for like, I remember like a track would go crazy for like the entire festival season, and now it's like they get couple weeks maybe, and then
that's like the tech house track, right, where it's like it has the Squid Games like in the start.
So that was a mashup that Zed made.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking.
Yes.
Okay. Anyway, but even that one, it was like came and went.
Yeah, and I mean there definitely are the songs that are like being played out in festival season and everything, but like I don't know, I don't feel like they're. Maybe it's partially like nostalgia.
I don't know.
Maybe I'm getting jaded. I don't know.
We're old.
It could we are, man. It could be that.
Nah, man. I think it is just with everything. Everything is like old news quicker, which
totally.
I think if we could somehow figure out a way to get out of that, I don't know. Like I think about Get Lucky with Daft Punk, like or just Random Access Memories, like
Timeless.
That. I remember hearing it. Exactly. I remember hearing it at the time and being kind of like, I remember being kind of like, this is not what I wanted, but
wasn't
now
super stoked about it.
It holds up. That's the thing, is I don't think people are like thinking about it as much like that. They're just like, we got to make a quick banger, or like we gotta, I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying one is like better or worse, but it does seem like that timelessness, however they captured that.
And that's like, I'm aiming to do that. Like, I've really been having a bit of like an artistic midlife crisis a little bit, and like trying to figure out like what I can do to like put out something that feels genuine in my soul, but is also marketable and digestible commercially. And like, you know, I don't know, like if I'm having this problem at the early stages of my career, like I want to figure it out before I'm getting bigger is what I'm saying. But it's all a work in progress, obviously, and no art is better than other art.
And all those anthems like still have a flavor of that era. It's like they're timeless, and maybe they're timeless to us because it's nostalgic too. But
yes, partially it probably is that.
But they did hit this like fine line where it's like there's something universal.
Yeah.
There's something about that era, and like, totally. I don't know. It's hard to describe what that is, but like
attention spans too, almost, I want to say.
Yes, that is a huge part of it. Attention spans are shorter. Yeah. TikTok has just completely ruined people's ability to focus on anything shorter than a couple seconds.
It's rough.
And just the media overload. There's just so much content that it's just it's hard to not be forgettable.
Dude, that's why I really have a hard time with the clips and stuff. I make the clips because they're fun, but really I feel like the long form podcast is the sauce, because
that's where you dig in,
because you could take clips out of context too and just be like, oh, that's what they said. It's like, well, we talked about it for 30 minutes, right? That was like 30 seconds,
right?
So I don't know, man. I just
I'm sure you have a unique relationship with that as a podcast creator, because like
I just love listening to the long form podcast. Like when I listen, like the Aubrey Marcus thing, I was just listening to something that he put out too, and I'm just like, oh well, I feel like the clips, at least in one sense, will be like they'll put you on to the full thing. So in that sense, it's like, all right, fine,
totally, as like a tool to bring you into it.
Yes, exactly. All right, well, let's bring this thing home, baby.
Let's bring it home.
We might play another track. I don't know.
I'm down.
I kind of want to listen to one more.
All right, well,
let's listen to one more.
Let's play one more.
Do I ask you my question first or after? It doesn't really matter. I'll just ask you now, and then we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
We talked about what your first concert was, but what was the most impactful concert you've been to? And I'll give you a second to think, because it's always like, oh man.
Okay.
But like, just a concert that really stood out as this made me like step up my game, or just like I saw things in a completely different way.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good question. I have two answers for that, because they're both valuable in a slightly different way. The first concert that was really valuable to me, which completely changed my life, was Lollapalooza 2011. It was the first music festival I had went to. It was the first time I had really heard electronic music live. I had seen Avicii live in Milwaukee before that.
At the rave?
At the rave.
Dude, that show was fucking awesome.
That was crazy. That was a really good show. That's so crazy, bro. I ate some like magic truffles. They weren't even like magic mushrooms. And I don't know, dude, it was crazy. And that was my second show. The one before that, I had seen Mac Miller. I'm a huge Mac Miller fan, and Krayshawn opened up for him.
Oh, hell yeah.
And Hot Shell Ray. I don't know if you remember Hot Shell Ray.
I know Krayshawn.
Tonight, there's a party on the rooftop, top of the world.
Oh, I know that song.
Yeah, those guys. Anyway, so Lollapalooza. It was the first time I heard like dubstep live. Like I saw Zed's Dead live at Lollapalooza, and I just remember just that like feeling, that emotion, that bass. Like I was just like, dude, holy shit! Like this is unlike anything I've ever experienced before. Like just the feeling that like electricity in the air when you're at like a really good show.
Yeah.
I just knew I wanted to be a part of that, like in some way or another. So that was like what brought me into it.
Do you know who else was playing that year? Because I definitely was there.
It was like...
Was Deadmau5 playing that year too?
I don't know. I know Avicii actually did play that year.
Did you see Avicii there? Was that when he had that head? Like the white head?
Yeah.
Dude.
I saw Avicii over Red Hot Chili Peppers, and it was when he had the white head. And I regretted it at the time, but then he passed away, and I was glad that I saw that concert. Rest in peace, Avicii. Also a huge influence. But yeah, so Lollapalooza, who else? It was Bass Nectar was that year. Zed played. Chucky played. Big Gigantic played.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was great.
I would also agree that some of those Lollapaloozas were just like, dude, what?
So crazy, bro. And also, it was just the first time I ever experienced like a music festival where I was like, you can just like walk around and like smoke weed,
that's
and
exactly
no one's gonna
how
like,
I felt.
no one's gonna arrest me.
You got into Lollapalooza and it was just like
a free for all.
Exactly, like freedom.
Yeah. Freedom, totally crazy. So that just like really just blew the doors off of everything I had known about live music. And then the second most important concert was I saw G Jones at the Canopy Club in 2017, I believe. It was when he was on his tour. I don't think it was the back-to-back tour with EPROM yet, but EPROM opened up for G Jones. And that was at a time where I was trying to figure out what direction I wanted to go with Vermyllion. I did not really know what music I was going to make. I did not know what the vibe I was going to go for or like what I was going to try to communicate artistically. And just seeing G Jones's like super polished audio visual experience of like his visuals, the lighting, the set, the music he played, like it literally clicked something in my brain that was like, this is the direction I want to go. Like I want to make this type of like experimental bass music that's somewhere in between like hip hop and dubstep and trap and like just like this amalgamation of just all these kinds of like musics and feelings, and like seeing that, like that sort of cemented how I want to like communicate feeling in concerts and in music, because it was such an experience. It wasn't just a concert, it was a whole fucking experience, and it just made everything so clear after that show. So dude, that is the one.
Every time I've seen G Jones, like in Chicago at least, dude, he played, I forget what the first venue he played at, Going Ham. That's when he released Visions.
Yeah.
Or I don't know if that was an album or an EP. I think it was an album.
I think it was like an LP or something.
Yeah. And then he played at the Concord with, I think EPROM was there. Yeah.
That was their back-to-back show, I'm pretty sure.
Bro, I was jumping up and down so hard. I swear they like looked down, they're like, this guy's going off. And I'm like, probably. If I can like do that at a concert and like communicate with the artist that like we are like,
we're getting what you're putting out there.
Yeah, exactly.
We're getting it.
That's all I want. Yeah,
for sure. That was a good show. Yeah. He's insane.
Yeah.
Word.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Real quickly, I just want to mention this Lollapalooza lineup
here. Oh yeah.
Because this is fucking crazy.
Legendary.
Yeah, Justice. In addition to everybody you mentioned, Justice was there. Cascade, Calvin Harris, Nero.
Oh my lord,
dude! Knife Party.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing
I saw Knife Party.
That I was at that show too. That was the only day I ever went to Lolla.
Oh dude, I was dead. I was dead.
Wild.
It was the last day.
Is it Major Lazer too?
Yeah, Major Lazer played.
Dude.
Yeah.
Oh,
when you look back at old lineups, it's like how, you know what I mean? Like I was looking back at a Freaky Deaky lineup. Me and my girlfriend were looking at Freaky Deaky, and I thought that
before it was a festival.
Yeah, like before. I think that this was actually when it became a festival.
Okay.
But I remember what you're talking about, where it was like 2 nights.
At Congress Theater.
Yeah. And but we were looking back on it, and she was listing some of the names. She thought it was for this year, and I was like, "What?" Like she just kept saying names. I was like, "What?" And then I'm pretty sure she said Mac Miller, and I was like, "Wait a minute, this is not possible. Don't mess with me like that." Yeah. So, but I mean,
that was a good year when Mac Miller played at Freaky Deaky. I remember that. I think that was the one year I went.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
lineups used to be fucking crazy.
stacked. But at the time, I think that everyone was kind of coming up too. So it was like, you know,
it was very
some
fresh
people,
at the time.
Some people knew about these artists, some people didn't. But now looking back to 2020 hindsight, it's like, yeah, I mean, this is a killer lineup.
Totally.
I don't know if I see that as much these days, but I could just be a little bit tapped out. I don't know.
I don't know, man. It seems like every single electronic festival is just Lost Lands 2.0 and 3.0 and 4.0 and 5.0 and 6.0 but
I don't disagree, but I also don't want to sound like an old fart here.
I know. Get off my lawn.
Yeah. I need new music.
Yeah, for real.
Let's okay, wait, which one are we playing here?
We actually didn't come to that yet.
Okay.
Anything in particular you want to listen to here? We've got three more from you: Drake Freestyle, the EPROM remix, or Cherry Blossom, and one of the Asian O.
Let's do Cherry Blossom, because that was my first venture into like writing a really vibey melodic tune that I still brought some heaviness to. So I think Cherry Blossom is kind of like a direction that I would love to go with the project. So I think that's a good good one. Yeah.
I definitely understand the Cherry Blossom aspect to this already.
I love that. I love when it comes across.
This is fucking sick.
Yeah,
dude.
this is really fucking cool.
Thank you so much, man.
Talk about ear candy.
Yeah. This is so reminiscent of Pretty Lights. It's not even funny. This is like, if you had him in mind while you were making this,
I love it. Like that was a good way to go out.
That was definitely the best way to go out. That had like all the best parts of like future bass that I like, and like it just also the Pretty Lights thing, like the way you were chopping up the sample too, that I was like, oh man.
And the walking bass line too, that oh man, 2012, like that took me back. That was awesome.
Dude, thank you, bro. I feel like that was a cool moment. Like for anyone listening that couldn't see it, like I don't know, I just feel like that was like, that moment was like what music is about to me. Like just all of us just sitting there, like just like bopping our heads, like just like feeling it. I don't know. That was a good moment.
I was really in from the beginning. Yeah, like
I could feel it. Like you could we
were all
locked
just
in. Yeah, no, that was special.
Damn. Well, dude, I'm very excited to hear more music. Let's just put it that way. Like,
thank you, bro. I'm excited.
I will definitely be like checking out all your new releases and everything.
Yeah, man. SoundCloud, Vermyllion.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, where can people find you?
Yeah, check me out. Vermyllion Bass on all social media: Twitter /Vermyllion Bass, Instagram /Vermyllion Bass, Spotify, Vermyllion. You know, searchable. VERMYLLION. Tons of new music coming soon. I got like 2 years of releases lined up, so it's coming.
Let's go, dude.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Of course,
it's a fucking pleasure, for real.
Dude, we'll do it again in a year.
Yes,
or something.
We will.
I don't know. Like that would be fun.
Yeah. We'll see where we're at in a year from now.
A fun thing about the podcast too is that like each one of these episodes is kind of a time capsule. So like all of the thoughts and stuff that you had, like I'll have people be like, "Yo, I listened to my old one, and like that's so wild. Like I feel like so much has changed." And I'm like, yeah, like,
totally. It's so important.
It's like a different photo.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm not good at taking pictures, but I'm good at recording podcasts. Dude, yes.
You guys are doing good work.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Yes.
All right, everybody.
All right, y'all.
We'll see you on a different episode. A different time.
A different time.
Protect your ears. Back your shit up.
Back your shit up.
Peace.
Later.